Hey y'all. Okay, so basically my hair was nappy, right? And so I just felt like, maybe I need a little detox. So I'm not about to talk y'all through this whole thing, but I am gonna vent real quick though. Y'all, have y'all ever had somebody and you gave them like an instruction? Like, you just have one job. Can you do this one thing for me? And then they voted. Like, have y'all ever had that? You know what that reminds me of? That reminds me of Joseph. Okay, let's get into it. So, just a quick spiel about Joseph, right? So, Joseph is one of the sons of Jacob, right? And Joseph is the one that had the favor, okay? There was something different about Joseph. Well, so much so that his brothers grew very jealous of him. And so what they did is they basically plotted to kill him, changed their minds, and ended up just selling him off as a slave. Okay, and if you're wondering where I'm at, let me tell you, I am in Genesis 38 through 41, if we really being honest. I'm just gonna go through the whole thing real quick, okay? Anyway, so like I was saying, Joseph ends up being sold as a slave. He ends up in Egypt and he's under Potiphar, who's basically the captain of the guard, right? And so again, Joseph had favor, okay? So Potiphar ended up trusting him with all of his possessions, all of his things. Let me add to that, okay? So in addition to Joseph having all the favor, he also was a little attractive, okay, which also became an issue for Potiphar's wife, who was like, need that, okay, and that's a problem because that was not okay. Well, anyway, she basically was trying to persuade him to, you know what I'm trying to say. So she was trying to persuade him, and Joseph had the self-control, all right? He said, absolutely not. But the problem with that is that was not good enough for Potiphar's wife, and so she basically got him thrown into prison. Long story short, okay? So while Joseph's in prison, it's so crazy because the favor followed him. See, that's one thing. When you know you have favor from the Lord, that favor follows you. Joseph had favor everywhere that he's been at this point, okay? He ended up being considered a trustee. So he was someone that the prisoner officials basically trusted him to oversee the other people who were in the prison. Like, that's crazy. But you know what? That's God. You know what I'm saying? And so there were two people that Pharaoh got extremely angry at and ended up throwing them into the prison. It was the Pharaoh's chief baker and the Pharaoh's butler. Some translations say the Pharaoh's cupbearer. My translation says butler. You use whichever version you want to use, okay? And in case you're lost, we're in Genesis 40 now, okay? We're in Genesis 40. So one night, the baker and the butler both had a dream that left them both feeling a little uneasy. And Joseph noticed this. So he's like, hey, y'all, what's up? And they were like, oh, we just had this dream. It was very troubling. And they felt they had no one to interpret their dreams. And Joseph said, do not interpretations belong to God? Tell them to me. So Joseph was standing with confidence in the ability that God gave him to interpret dreams. And so each of them, the butler and the baker, both told him their dreams, and Joseph interpreted them.